hello there, and welcome to the Heat Army podcast. Apologies that we weren't on last Thursday. We got a little bit of the coronavirus, so that unfortunately that hampered the commentary on Monday, and we do apologise about that. But Darlington covered the game, and what a game it was. If you are there, we want to hear from you, and there was quite a few of you there, and we'd love to hear your reactions about the whole Easter weekend. Good Friday was a great Friday, an unreal Monday, and tonight we're hoping to have a belter. As you can see on the screen, we're joined by Mark Carruthers and Mickey as ever. Mickey, I'll start with you first. You were there on Friday. What a way to kick off the weekend.
Fantastic way to kick off the weekend. Took our time to get with stride. Took a good 20 minutes to get to the stride down at Guiseley, and then second half, wow. I was still queuing up for a cup of coffee when Macaulay got his first, and I just got into my position with a cup of coffee with the lads and that, and Macaulay scored the third, and the coffee went all over the place.
I once did that with a bag of nuts. We've got lots of messages coming in already. It's a fully interactive show if you hear us for the first time. Mason Ford said hello. Is my sound all right on your end? It's not crackling or anything for you?
Unfortunately, your sound is fine.
Fine. Just it's crackling in my ears. Just thought I'd double check there. Charles Waff, evening boys, and evening guys. How are you? We're all right. Just a message as well on the phone line front. I've had all this pulled out and cleaned it, and I can't find the mobile phone that we use for taking calls. So we're gonna have to get a new number and a cheap phone for taking calls in future. So apologies on that. Lots and lots of messages coming in. James Gowland, unreal atmosphere yesterday. Gates International Stadium was absolutely rocking. It sounded it when I tuned back in. I must admit I did have to tune out to the Darlington commentary. Just wasn't me. It just wasn't the greatest to listen to, especially when the game was as it was in the first half. But we'll get on to that a little bit shortly. But Mark, what a weekend. You couldn't have wrote it, could you?
No, you certainly couldn't. And obviously, yes, the talkers all have focused on Gateshead, which we shouldn't, focused on the lads getting the right results. But what happened with Brackley was a big plus. And
yeah,
I've got to be honest, I said it to Paul Dixon on Friday that I thought Boston would, if I'm honest, I would say get a draw. I said get a draw, but to get a win at Brackley. And I think that there's been a lot of talk about Brackley's defensive record, which is unbelievable, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not scored a lot of goals at the moment. And if they keep doing that, they're not going to win the league, simple as that. So, and you look at Gateshead, who over this weekend alone have scored 10 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
So it's been a really positive weekend. But just a word of caution, when you look at the last 4 games, there's not one easy game in them. There really isn't.
Not at all. I mean, everyone's fighting for something in this league. We've said it all along. It's probably been one of the tightest league for all sorts of different reasons, whether it's the top or the bottom. And just going back to Brackley there, obviously their results helped us enormously for us to go 4 points clear, 4 games left, of course. But friend of the show, Jack, the Brackley fan who often had on, obviously we follow him on Twitter, and about 25 minutes to go during the game, he tweeted that Brackley were dead on their feet and that they looked like they were running out of steam. And I was like, and then we start to pull goals back, and it just seemed to be written in the football stars. The football gods were looking down on us. But, it's a long season. Brackley are still, of course, part-time. They're doing incredibly well. And I actually spoke to Tony Carter today, and he was saying for either side that falls into the playoffs, and if they don't go up, it'll be criminal, because what the 2 teams have achieved this season, to be 30 points clear of the team that could potentially go up if they're the bottom of the playoffs, would be criminal, because these 2 sides, let's face it, probably the most unfashionable sides. No one probably thought they were going to be up there at this stage, challenging. And, the both teams have worked hard all season.
I'm going to take exception with that.
Let's put it this way. Those who had money on 20 to 1 at the start of the season are going to be looking for the betting slips.
Oh, there certainly will be. Definitely will be.
I mean, I think it's on Twitter as well. I put it on Twitter at the time because I got battered by some fans of certain other clubs who are not in contention, shall we say. So I just, it goes back to, and I always go back to this, the Hebben game in pre-season. There was that game, and I know Hebben were still very much finding their feet then in terms of their squad. But you could see that night that what's happening now was in place then. So the passing, the movement, people, particularly top end of the pitch, rotating positions. I can't remember what the score was now. Was it 3-1, 3-2? But it was.
It's that long ago, but I think obviously everyone noticed Conor Panny in that game because he was part of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you say, the foundations weren't just laid in that game; they were laid in March, April this time last year, when the club carried on full-time training.
Do you know what, Dave? I would go back as far to say that the foundations of what you're seeing now were put in place the minute Mike was appointed, and when Busted was appointed, he's number 2, because the word you keep hearing around the club is process. It's process. Everything's process driven. And that hasn't just been brought in at the start of this season or in March. That's been in place since day one. Yes, it's got to a point now where the process is in overdrive, if you want to call it that. But this has been a long-term project, an ongoing project as well, by the way, for Mike and for Busted, and now Louis Story's on board, and Carl Magnes having a bit of a say, and Chris Bell as well. We shouldn't forget Belly. So there's a lot going on at the club, and it's all positive. And I think the key thing is everyone keeps their heads, and I don't just mean within the club. I mean supporters as well. Yeah. There's a big 4 games coming up, but the simple fact is, Gateshead win 3 of those games. They're back where they were. They're back in the National League, and all the crap that went on with the previous owners is wiped away. This is a new club, and I honestly think it'll flourish if it can get up to that level. Or when.
As you say, it's still a process. There's no end to that process. It's always when you see the conversations and interviews with Mike and Ian, the job is never done. It's always looking forward. There's no satisfaction. Obviously they can look back at the end of the season and go, yeah, that was the first tick on the list. We'll go on to the next bit. I don't expect anything to be stopped. It's always an onward moving process. So we've got lots of messages coming in. I'll get through them all. Gordon, we haven't got the phone line. It's not open tonight. I've explained I can't find the phone. Don't know where it is. Samt, thank you very much. Hello. It's what a game on Monday like. It certainly was. Liv Walden, hope you're all well. What an amazing weekend. Yeah, it was. That's just we couldn't have wrote it. Just before we get deep into it, remember, fully interactive like it is here. We are going to give away a mug tonight. We are going to have a competition later on. So please do enter that competition later. And we're going to be joined by one of the lads or 2 of the guys from Inspired, Mike. Right. Yeah, and we've got Ross Black as well from the foundation, and then we've got James Rushmore joining us as well. So we've got a ram-packed show, and we've got Mark with us all the way through as well. So it's fantastic. But before we go any further, let's just pay a little thank you to our sponsors, and then we'll get right back into it and read out your messages. And just before we move any further forward, myself and Mark have been lucky enough to have been asked to help out on a different podcast called Hotbed with Gavin Webster, friend of the show and Gateshead fan, of course, about Northeast football from the start of the Football League and a little bit before that's been covered. So there's a new podcast coming out, and I would probably get wrong if I didn't mention it, by Lee Kyle, who's been messaging everyone to tell him to push the show from Felton Out. So, say, Mark, we've been involved in that, and it's just in its infancy at the moment, but it's been an interesting one to get involved with.
It has, yeah. But I missed the first one. Left that in your and Gav's capable hands, but then enjoyed doing the second one, looking at the it was Sunderland's first and second season in the Football League before Newcastle United came into existence, and like a Gateshead, and that we should say it's not just focusing on Newcastle United, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. It will go into non-league as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to an exciting project we part off with Gav, and there's not many more passionate than Gav when we look at Northeast football, and I'm sure it'll be worth a listen.
certainly is. And Gav has bought a lot of reading material on all the clubs. So as I say, we're working way through. I think we started on 18, 19, 91 was the season that we started on. It's going to go each season, each episode, and there might even be ones where we go back. But if you want to go to Felton Out, you can get early editions there on a Patreon, and it'll be available everywhere where you get podcasts as well. So do get involved with that. And say once we get into the 1930s, obviously Gateshead will be starting to get a mention and things like that. So there we go. Little plug for that. But Mickey, I was say you were there yesterday as well. Of course, I was getting messages from you. I was getting messages from a few people, but didn't start off great.
Didn't. I must admit, when 1-0 down, I was thinking, please not the day, lads. Please not the day. Then they got the penalty, which from where I was sitting, I wasn't sure if it was a penalty or not. Given that referee, I can't remember his name, but he's a complete cock.
The words of Mickey Barris, not the heat on.
Honest, the man just baffled me. I mean, we had 2 or 3 good shouts for penalties. This was one where Greg Ollie shot and the lad stuck his arm up. How that is not a penalty, I do not know. Then obviously we struggled to get going. And the turning point for me, and as much as I like Taylor Charters as a footballer, and Dan Ward's been excellent this season, I think the substitutions to bring Matty Jacob on and Conor Malley were inspired. To bring him on at that time, it just changed the dynamic for us. Greg Ollie got the goal, and we know what happens when we get a goal. It drives on, and before you know it, bang, 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 bang. Mm-hmm. But it was just a total sea change. I mean, we spoke off air before, and myself, Mark, and I, and Mark said it as soon as we started hunting in packs, like we normally do. You could see Darlington back off. Mm-hmm. And
you know what, we can obviously we won the game, had to dig deep and got into it and got into our flow. But what a season to say that they come back and do that. That we have the faith. The lads have the faith in themselves because it's been drilled into them. It's been installed in them to do that. And
I said the message I took. We've come back from worse than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and there wasn't probably a Gateshead fan in the ground who didn't think we had the ammunition to come back from that.
Yeah,
it was just we just needed that starting point, and that's Greg Ollie's goal was an absolutely cracking move. And he slotted away lovely.
Yeah,
and then obviously Wheater's gone off and near fell a bit because Wheater's he's experienced. He was probably organising them at the back. As soon as he went off, we just put the bars over the top. Macca raced away. It was. I mean, if you were neutral, there wasn't many neutrals in there, to be honest, yesterday. But if you were a complete neutral, you must have went away from that game thinking, wow, I'm going back there.
Well, let's just talk about the crowd as well. 2,300, or close to 2,400. 1,700 or nearly 1,800 in the home end, which is absolutely fantastic. And let's put that into perspective as well. 1 second. Of course, Newcastle weren't playing at home, but we know the noisy neighbours. South Shields had a very big crowd as well, close to 3,000. So that just shows you the interest's there. It's not just the ground hoppers or the ones that flip between the two. There's enough interest there in Gateshead themselves to warrant a crowd like that, which is fantastic. And and then we're going to be speaking to James Rushmore later on. It's down to some of his work and a lot of the people behind the scenes that is happening. So it's just amazing that the crowd was.
The one thing is, sorry, Dave. The one thing that's come out of this pandemic, what we've just come out of, is non-league football is flourishing because of it.
Yeah, there's some.
It was 1,500 watching. Being No Shields because No Shields could win the title.
Yeah, I mean, just looking around, I can't remember who it was. He's been a guest on the show. I forgot his name now, and he always puts up non-league information. He put up all the highest crowds from around. Sorry,
Thomas Feeney.
That's it, Thomas Feeney. The attendances are just magnificent for clubs that you wouldn't think would have crowds like that as well. So, it definitely does show do that. And we've got a message here from Taylor Howie. If we're going to win this league, we need to pull out a second half performances like that. That's what league winners do. Let's try not to get carried away. Of course, yes, 4 massive cup finals coming up. But if Gateshead can play the way they are, that's the way it's, we can do it. And what a free kick by Nathan Lowe. Now, I obviously haven't seen the highlights yet that go on after we go off air. I've seen some criticism of Marshall. Was it a great free kick or was it a keeper caught off his line?
Look, my personal belief is that there's one person that whole ground who thought Nathan Lowe was going to have a shot there, and that's Nathan Lowe.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else in that ground thought, given he was about 40 plus yards out, there's not a chance. And that, I've seen people saying that Marshall's left too much space and all that, but for me, he's anticipating a cross, which anyone would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nathan's got an unbelievable right foot. I've seen it enough when he was at South Shields. So he was going to get a good connection on it, regardless if it was a cross or a shot. So I just think it's too easy to criticise a goalkeeper when he's being beaten from distance without actually paying credit to the lad that's struck a ball unbelievably well. Now, to hit the target from that distance is some effort. To put it in the top corner the way he did is even better. So I think sometimes you've just got to look at, say well done to the lad that struck it. Nathan's a top player.
Yeah.
I thought he had a really good 60 minutes yesterday before Gateshead took over. He's arguably, along with Jack Lambert, was Dalton's best player. I think Wheater going off hampered them massively because if you look at Gateshead, certainly third and probably fourth goals, maybe second, third and fourth even, I don't think they happen if Wheater's on the pitch because he steps back and heads it clear. Whereas Alex Story, who's come on, has tried to anticipate and he's got done over the top. Now, that's not to say I don't think Gateshead would have went out and win the game if Wheater stayed on. Mm-hmm. I just think, and Mickey will back us up here, the minute that first goal went in, when Greg scored that goal, there was a momentum change. You could sense it straight away. There was a change in mentality. And it was quite obvious that Gateshead would at very least get a draw.
Definitely. We've got lots of messages coming in. Like you to follow our social medias. This is how you do it. When we come back, we'll carry on with the conversation and read out your messages. Now, Mickey, can you remember, must be about 4 or 5 years ago, we had Jimmy Chandler come round to my house when we were doing the podcast at the old house, and we're going to see some photos for her, and we had I got a frame for both. And anyway, I had them tucked to one side, and my son found the Jimmy Chandler one, and he's put it up in his room, and he put it up there saying, "Look, Dad, I do like football. Can I come with you?" I was like, oh. Just a little bit too young at the minute, but it's just remembered that when I was watching that. But I think we might have he's got a mouth like his dad, so you never know. He might have a podcast of his own soon. Just a message about our future guest. Emilio has put James Rushmore says he's going to swap the suit for boxer briefs or a mankini on the final day. Well, we'll ask him about that when he comes on. I don't think he'll swap his suit. After we destroyed Hartlepool in pre-season, I had a feeling we'd do well. Yeah, that was a strange game because you didn't know how, because they started the season very well, Hartlepool, in the football league. But yeah, there was definitely flashes of what we had seen all in pre-season, wasn't it, in that game against Hartlepool?
Yes.
No,
how can I? I'm losing superlatives for this team.
It is, and you don't want to feel like you're over bigging them up, for want of a better phrase. But obviously where they are now with 4 games to go, would anyone have believed that in pre-season? You might have hoped to have it as a reality there's a long way to go, but I'm sure Mike and the rest of his coaching staff have got these lads' feet planted firmly on the ground. Just looking at social media, the way the players are, saying how much they love this club and how much they love the group of players that they're with. If we can keep this and keep the nucleus, wow, next season can be just as good for performances and effort and everything that's going to be put in. Andy Mason, even in Gen, still absolutely buzzing from the weekend. What happens in the next 4 games? Couldn't ask for more from the lads who've done us proud. Bring on Kettering. Exactly, whatever happens from here, it's been absolutely amazing. Mike has always looked focused, not getting carried away, but he did show a glimmer of emotion on Saturday. He certainly did. I know I've seen people talking about it on Twitter, and then when I eventually seen the social media video from Gateshead, yeah, you just seen a little cheeky glint in his eye there of belief, didn't you?
Seen a scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a few of them, wasn't there? Macaulay Langstaff and Greg Olio and Bailey. You could see as they came off, there were. I don't think it's a belief that job's done.
No.
I think from everything that's been said, or everything that was said post match by a number of players, is they know it's not done. They know they've got 4 huge games ahead of them. But I think it was a celebration of the fact that they turned a game that was going against them for 45 minutes and won it so well in the end. So I think that was why there was this, response.
Emotion.
Yeah, and this outpouring of emotion. It wasn't a look at, look at what we've done. We've won this league. It was more of a, well, we've turned this game around that was going away from us. That's the bottom of it. Because the one thing I would say about this Gateshead squad is they're very grounded. Nobody's getting carried away. Nobody's shouting the odds about, look what we've done. We've done this. We've done that. It is just focused. Again, I keep going back to it. Focused on the process. Focusing on the next training session tomorrow. Focusing on the next game once that's done. That's all they're doing. It's ticking games and training sessions off day by day.
Definitely. We've got a message here from Anne Scurfield. Good evening, all. The game on Friday was fantastic. Class to see another 200 plus support in an away game. That is just tremendous. The Darlow game, we've seen this all season. The lads never come up. Winning mentality is fantastic. Excited for Chorley away and Hereford game. Let's do this. They say none of the games are easy. Hereford still have a chance of getting into the playoffs. Chorley's in there. Kettering's in there. There's no easy games here. No easy games. John Laverick wouldn't let the ref lose on a Sabutio match. Disgrace. Farsley away as well. Yeah, I think there was another message that we had up there before. He was the same referee for Farsley away. We've got one here from Charles Waff. I hope Charles is all right. Or Charlie. He keeps telling us off, even though he's with Charles there, but he likes to be called Charlie. Hi, Mark. Sorry I couldn't give you the pictures you asked for. Rather an expensive day today to replace my field lens. That's why I missed our goals. Oh, nightmare.
It was a couple of pieces I've got coming out. There's one that's already out with I'm trying to think which one I've released now. Greg Ollie. That one's out there. Charlie was going to provide some photos, but his lens went, unfortunately. So he is a brilliant photographer, by the way.
And a lovely man as well. He certainly is.
But there's also a piece coming out with Macaulay Langstaff tomorrow and a one with Mike later in the week as well. So there's plenty of them. But no, Charlie, top photographer and a good guy as well.
Good man.
Tell you what, lads, at the start of the season, would any of you have thought would be 31 points ahead of York?
No, not at all. Not at all. Caroline's asking if I'm feeling better. I am feeling a lot better. I've still got a little bit of a tickly cough, but hopefully we'll be testing negative by the end of the week. Speaking of Hartlepool, get well soon. Graham Lee, he has COVID. Yeah, well, I feel he's pain at the moment. Thankfully, this time it's not as bad as what it was at New Year. It wasn't very nice at all. Darlow keeper Tommy Taylor kept making the eye at me and saying nice and slow, take my time when they were 2-0 up. Hope he slept well after the game. I have heard stories that he was took his time during goal kicks.
Well, there was one moment when I can't remember who had the shot, but it was a 2-0 and it went quite well wide. But as it's gone past his goal, he dived and stayed on the ground and then got up and went and got the ball. And it was just like, I think Gateshead players did well not to get wrapped up in that. They just, again, keep using this word, they stayed focused.
And then he went absolutely ballistic and went 3-0 when we were slowing the throw down. He was run up to the referee and crying on. Thinking, what he is.
Sam Pendleton is put, evening lads, huge win yesterday. Big character showing to come back from 2-0 down. Take one game at a time, lads, on to Kettering. It certainly is. I mean, no one's going to get too carried away here. Southport at home should be good. Always good encounters when we play them. It is. We've had some good battles with Southport down the line, and as I say, obviously this season we came back to 3-3, didn't we? In dramatic fashion as well, showing great character there. And I would say Emilio's stepping up the mark. He's took some fantastic photos this week. I can probably sort out some photos for Mark. Probably sort out some for Mark for mug if needed. For the mat, I'm just not getting a mug.
I got photos from him today, actually, for those pieces.
There we go. Spot on. And also, as well, if anyone would like to follow, if Emilio could send us his Instagram, because I know he did put a post up. He's going to put more of his match photos up on a match day. So they're great. So if he sends us the link, we'll put that up on screen, what his Instagram is, and so people can see his work as well. A very talented young photographer there as well. We have got one of our guests waiting in the background. We'll bring them in very shortly. I think we've got 3 coming on at 1:30. So we'll bring them in and we'll be talking about the foundation and the Costa Blanca Cup, which looks very much like it's on coming up very shortly. Barry McNulty has put their keeper was wasting time after 4 minutes when he was wasting time. He was the first person to moan on. Karma at its best. Well, there we go. And something to talk about here. Another 2 goals for Longstaff, the league's top goal scorer. Is it 25 league goals, 30 goals altogether?
It is 30 altogether.
Yeah, I mean, wow. And then that to me isn't. You look
Ked all together.
Ked must have over 25 as well, at least. So,
who was the last Gateshead striker to score 30 in a season?
John Shaw.
Yeah, John Shaw. Yeah,
was he?
Yeah.
For the record, Macca, you need 7 goals to beat the most goals in the season, which is held by John Shaw, which is 36.
36. Well.
If he scores 7 between now and the end of the season, I think we'll be all right. Yeah.
That would be very, very nice. Right, we've got our other guests about to join us. I'm just going to go to a quick advert. We'll bring them back in once we come back from this. Well, there we are. We are joined by Cal, Ross, and David. Thank you very much for joining us, lads. The other week, there was a fantastic night held at the Pelaw Social Club with Dave Allen holding a quiz to help raise money to help you get towards that target for getting to the Costa Blanca Cup. And Dave, how are we doing on that front? Or does it look like the team's going to get there?
Yeah, well, it's looking really good. We're getting closer and closer to the sort of finish line for the funding. So, flights are all booked, hotels are all booked. We're there. We're still going to continue the fundraising to get sort of some more cash in. But Gateshead will be in Europe in July.
Oh, that's fantastic! And we're hoping if you can get footage and send it to us, and we'll try and talk to you live when you're out there as well during the summer. We need our heat fix, and we need to know how you're doing out there as well. But Carl, Carl, how is it? How are the lads pumped up for it now? Then it's all booked.
Yeah, I think it's starting to feel a lot more real for them now, especially being there yesterday, going out at half time, wearing the shirts. The fundraiser was a great night the other week. There's about 10 Gateshead players came, chatted to the guys. The guys are constantly telling us every day now, like Adam Campbell just followed us on Instagram. He knows who I am, and there's a really good link there. And they're just raring to go. And yeah, we're just trying to get them fit because it's going to be hot.
Yeah, I was going to say it's getting warm now. I'm struggling at the minute, so I couldn't imagine running around. But Ross, say a great night was had at the Pelaw Social Club. A great night run by Dave Allen, and just and say another great thing for the foundation to be involved in.
Yeah, it was great. Got to give Davies due. He went above and beyond to get it sorted with the lads, and he went and seen them quite a lot beforehand and made sure everything was on the night was ready to go. And he made sure everybody put their hands in the pocket on the night as well.
It's good at that.
I've never had so many games of card bingo in my life. I didn't realize you could collect cards in that quickly. But he was brilliant. And I think Carl sent us the figures before. I'll just double check them. Or Carl, you can say them if you want. Go on, I'll let you take the credit.
Yeah, well, a lot of credit, like you said. Dave Allen was amazing. It was his idea for the fundraiser. He comes up, sees the lads every morning he's in, and he came with the idea of his card bingo, and we decided to merge it with our presentation, and it was a great night. But on that night, we raised in total, I think, over £1,200, which was huge. And then I'm going through the money at the minute from the bucket collection at the weekend. I think it's coming up about £200. So yeah, so that's quite a lot raised over the two events.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen photos from the night at the Pelaw Social Club. The lads got up on stage as well, and obviously got to go out in front of the crowd yesterday. Special moments, very special moments.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling the guys yesterday that it's only really generally the pros that get to sort of soak up a crowd like that and have that experience. So they kind of living the dream, which is amazing. It kind of raises people's self-esteem and brings sort of disability football to the map. And Gateshead putting their arm around us and enabling that to happen has just been phenomenal. And the more conversations we'll have with the sort of the team at Gateshead and the backroom staff at Gateshead, the more they tell us we're firmly part of that club, which is an amazing sort of amalgamation of two great companies, that got two great organisations that Gateshead should rightly be proud of, that have come together. And when things like that happen, it's good things happen, and it certainly is now.
We've got a message from Cow Daily, and they put, will the tournament be filmed for YouTube? I'd really like to follow their progress.
It is getting filmed, yeah. I don't know
last time we were there, we went Facebook Live. We haven't decided how we're going to do it this time. But it will definitely be going out live. I know last time me and Carl did a lot of sort of blog type stuff, interviews with each other and with players and stuff. So all that'll be happening again.
Well, we definitely want to be involved. If you'd like us to do a show when you're live over there, and we can, if you can, we can put footage up and anything and show goals, interviews, whatever. We'll definitely would love to be part of that. I think it'd be fantastic to give the lads the exposure that they deserve, and hopefully, I don't know, I imagine you probably have, but hopefully the local media, Tyne Tees and BBC might get involved as well before you eventually go out there, because I think it's a wonderful thing that's happening at the moment, and hopefully it's just the start of many tournaments that the club can go to.
We've had some amazing coverage from the sort of press. It's one of them, like when you set out this concept and come up with the idea, it takes a lot of time for people to sort of get on board, because it's really, are you really taking a Gateshead team to Europe? But then with the momentum, obviously we appeared first on your podcast and sort of the reach out from there. We then we were on ITV, and we got a good slot on ITV on the main news, and it was during the sports article as well. So that was good. And I know when the reporter was with us, he thinks, and he's gonna float it, that somebody comes with us from ITV.
Oh, that would be fantastic. That would be amazing. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
going back to that night. Sorry, Davey. Going back to the night. One of the highlight. Well, it was the highlight for me. Is when the lads got up and celebrated with the trophy. That was the biggest highlight of the night for me. It was absolutely fantastic to watch them lads jumping around, singing Champions on the stage. That just made my night. That.
They're a great bunch. They struggle with a lot of things in life, but when they get on the pitch and when they get in amongst each other, people with autism are meant to struggle socially, but I think it's testament to the work that we kind of do with the guys, and kind of enable them to sort of find them skills within themselves to be able to be social. And you can get them up on a stage, and they're in front of a lot of quite high profile people, but they just absorb it. And it's a great thing that they do, and it's the life skills and the learning is just immense. And they're dead proud. They're proud of their football.
See, that's the main thing, isn't it? I mean, obviously you like to win games, but this is more important than results at the moment, isn't it? It's a life opportunity.
Absolutely, aye. And honestly, there's quite a few of them are Gateshead fans, so them pulling on the top and the badge, and it just means so much to them. It's unreal what it does.
The Cow Dailies reminds me of the West Auckland winning the World Cup would be a great documentary. Well, hopefully it would be the icing on the cake if they can come back with the cup, beating some of Europe's elite clubs. But we'll take it one step at a time.
Can I just add as well, Dave? That's been brilliant. Like when we both spoke about getting a player on board to be an ambassador, Adam Campbell straight away was like, yeah, definitely. And he's went all in on it. Do you know what I mean? He made sure that all the lads were there on that presentation night. Most of the squad were there. Kim and Greg Ollie made a real effort to make sure everyone was there and representing it. And like the social media presence that he's brought to this campaign and the support that all the lads have given it just really sums up the kind of club we have and the players involved at the minute. It's no egos. It's all one. And I just thought that was really good of Adam. And I think he's been like one of our unsung heroes this season at times. And it's good to see he's finally getting the credit that he deserves on the pitch and off it.
Certainly is. It's as I say, we've had him on the podcast a couple of times. He's absolutely lovely. He loves his cats as well. If you follow him on social media,
he's a crazy cat man.
Crazy cat man. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Carl, preparations. When do you start to go into overdrive for when you get out there?
We've started it now, to be honest. I think as it started to get more real, the lads are realising that there's a bit of a spotlight on them now, and nobody wants to be the one that's having to be subbed off after 30 seconds because they kind of cope in the heat. So we're doing a lot more without the ball at the minute, which is not something that we usually do. So a lot more gym sessions, just trying to get people up to speed. But yeah, that's the main aim at the minute. We've got some players who like looking to lose some weight that they'd gained during lockdown. So everyone's got there. Yeah, I'm with them, as well. So we've all got our own charts with our own aims on. We have our weekly weigh-ins and stuff, which is a good laugh. But everyone's doing really well, so we're all in it together. So yeah, it's full steam ahead.
Ah, fantastic! And say, Dave, I forgot the name of the website now. The donation page, is that still open at the moment?
It is, yeah. It's the Just Given /crowdfunder /European Dream, I think it is. So yeah, that's and it's still on our social pages and stuff. People are still dropping money regularly into it. It's bits and bobs here and there. So yeah, that is still open. We've also got we're going to be auctioning. We've got and it got mentioned at the fundraiser the other day. We've got a limited edition sort of white label 12-inch vinyl of the Walk On song right here, right now, signed by Fatboy Slim himself. And we're going to get Mike and a couple of the guys to sign it as well. So that's this year's brand new Walk On song, which I got or I asked Fatboy Slim if he would let the club use it for nothing, and he did. and it seems to have brought a bit of luck,
Yeah.
which Walkman songs are it's what it's all about, isn't it? Lifting the spirits, and it's a tune. So it's a limited edition white label, so never released, and signed by him, and it'll be signed by some of the club. So we'll be auctioning that online.
Sharing links to that.
Yeah, make sure you put the links up. We'll all share it.
Yeah,
will be.
be fantastic.
For somebody it's a bit different, you know.
Yeah,
like signed shirts and stuff. You know, that's one thing, but this is a little bit different for somebody who's a good collector.
Definitely. And Ross, is there anything that you'd like to plug from the foundation before we let you guys go?
Well, one thing is Josh went down, who does our foundation media, and he had a good day with the lads the day before the night. And Josh was putting together a video on the foundation's behalf. We've got a few interviews with the lads and that, and he's seen the lads train. So we'll definitely be pushing that. On the foundation side, we've got our soccer camps on that have been fully sold out over the past 2 weeks with the kids involved, which has been fantastic. And then a lot of them were at the match on Monday. I think the Kids Go Free initiative has been really successful because not only has it got like the kids in, but more adults are coming in. It's like a family day out, and you see it massively now. Like when the players walk off and when the players walk on, you see the amount of kids that are waiting there for high fives off the players and that, and it does have a different feel to it.
Not just calling Dave.
But from the foundation side of it, we've got our walking football sessions on. You'll see yesterday we're making a big push on getting more people in from the stroke survivors, the one that we do.
Yeah.
That'll be good going forward. And then I'm hoping to get some more news out about a potential food bank collection pretty soon before the end of the season, because I think that's one key thing that we're really unlucky at, that COVID hit quite a lot when we had these things on. So that's twice it's been knocked on the head, and we want to make, if we can't do it at the stadium, make sure we do a big push as a club in the town centre if the stadium isn't possible.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a thing. And then it's just a case of keeping an eye out on our social media, especially with the off season coming up. We've got a lot of stuff planned, and it will be coming out as and when, these things take a lot of time. But yeah, it's been very successful, and like we say, we're all buzzing with how we've done from when I first met Carl and Dave at Gateshead Stadium. We had a few plans, but I think even in our wildest dreams, we didn't think within a year we'd be taking the team to Europe. And it's just been fantastic to see, and it was just great to see that everybody, the turnout, like the amount of fans that got behind it. I must say, like, that big room in Pilo was hard to look full, and it was like the top two tiers were full, so it makes a massive difference. And it's just a case of just backing the lads as much as we can now, make sure them extra few pennies are raised to get them over the line, and then it's up to Carl and the lads, isn't it, to bring the trophy home. No pressure, Carl.
Yeah.
No, I'm quite confident in them. Like I think they'll do it. Yeah. So now everyone's done their bit with the raising money. It'll be over to the boys out there, and they'll do the business.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, Dave, Carl, fantastic lads, well done.
It really is.
Yeah, fantastic.
You deserve a lot of credit.
We'll definitely get you on before you head off, and we'll get an update.
Live from the airport.
Yeah, live from the airport for that airport pint picture. But no, as I say, just keep up with great work. Ross, David, Carl, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, lads.
Thank you. Bye.
Right.
There we go. The lads there. They've great stuff. Say that, look, a gated team in Europe. Say what a feather in the cap that is.
We were talking about how the on-field stuff has been built up from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a wonderful example of how behind the scenes the club has built up to something that, let's be honest, even before didn't have this sort of thing going on. And you look at the women's side, you look at the academy set up now and the way that's being built up, and just added things like this. It's just wonderful to see it. What a club can become when it's boosted by fan power. Yeah, sadly, it took a near disaster to spark this into action. But look, in a couple of weeks' time, it could all be worth it. Arvid,
and the Lassers could be in line to win the league as well.
I know we'll get into that as well. Arvid, hello from sunny Mallorca. It's Qatari for some, isn't it? Over the moon, the recent results. We can't stumble now, and the best bacon to Gateshead on the 7th for SAV rides over. I think he's doing a bike riding competition over there in Mallorca, and we've got a late message here. Ross Black, one of the unsung heroes this season. His actions at Blythe, the stuff he's involved with at the club, give him a Pride of Britain award. There we go. As I say, I remember listening, shivering with COVID with that one when Mark said there was a fan ran on the pitch to stop the play when he was because he stepped in for the Blythe commentary because they had the COVID as well, didn't they?
Yeah. An interesting moment, but no, I think Ross deserves a Pride of Gateshead award. Never mind a Pride of Britain. I think we'll build up to that. But no, great lad, Ross, doing great. I think, as was said there, a real unsung hero.
He's come a long way since Finnegan.
Oh yeah, that was. If anyone, we used to do before there was like an abundance of commentaries on away games. We'd sometimes do a live show on when we used to broadcast on Spreaker, and we'd have someone at the game live talking to us. And Ross, he just screamed, Finnegan, Finnegan, Finnegan! I think it was a way it failed, wasn't it? Somewhere like that. But that was maybe, but it was one of them ones. We've got James Rushmore waiting in the wings. We'll bring him in we're going to bring him in now, actually. So here he is. Hello there, James. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. All the better for having you on. And James, you do sterling work at the club. Spoke to you in pre-season. We had an interview with you that we put out on the podcast. You're working hard with new sponsors and partners with the club, and that work has continued right throughout the season. You just have to look around the pitch on a match day to see what has been done at the club. First of all, well done. Congratulations on all of that. It's very much appreciated from every Gateshead fan. But you must be happy with the way things have went.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a really productive year, really. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm still here. I've knocked my camera.
Yeah. Oh, have you?
There
we go.
Turn it back up. It's fine.
Get it off. Yeah, no, it's been a really good year for the club. I think obviously what's been going on the pitch has helped massively. So they make my job a little bit easier, considering things are going so well. But yeah, no, in terms of the partnerships and the commercial side, it's been really productive. And we're now obviously at that time of year where we're love you. Thank you.
What can you safety aware just before we get into that?
It's normally a bit of Blue de Chanel or the White Company. Yeah, it's kind of a mixture of
I can totally recommend Bleu de Chanel.
Yeah,
it's lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah.
No, it's been a really good year. I think obviously we're now at the time of year where we're reapproaching sponsors to come on board for next year, and we're having some really good feedback from them. Obviously, I think a lot of clubs kind of get partners on board and then just reapproach them without doing any maintenance throughout the year and kind of keep connecting with them. So I think one of the things that we're really proud of this year is that we've been kind of engaging with them throughout the year, which has been a real positive. So we're now in an extremely strong position going into next season to kind of keep them partnerships up, really.
It certainly is. I mean, I said at the beginning of the season when I spoke to you, I can't remember seeing that many, sponsors and partners around the stadium. But since then, it probably grew by a third on top of what was already there when we spoke to you in I think it was August. So, it must be, obviously the football helps the results. Sponsors and partners want to have, a little bit of payback for their investment or in time spent with the club. It must be a nice, weapon in your arsenal when approaching new sponsors to say, well, this is what we bring to the table.
Absolutely, and like you say, it does make my job easier when the football's going well. And I think the FA Cup run was a massive part of that. I think obviously when we got to that Charlton match, we had a few opportunities come up, kind of expanding our in-stadium presence and doing a few things with the kit and things that you wouldn't normally do in a league season without that kind of run. So yeah, I mean, we showed faith in our current partners first and went to them first and foremost to give them exposure. and quite a few of those stepped up and wanted to do more of us, which was fantastic. And obviously we also got some more on board as well, some more local ones who came on board for the FA Cup run, and hopefully will be staying with us for next season as well. So yeah, it's kind of been slowly growing throughout the season, and yeah, next season is going to be one of those where hopefully it'll take another step up and progress even more. So it's really exciting. Yeah.
Well, we've got something here that you can either confirm or deny. This one here, Chief Marketing Development Officer James Jones was delighted to announce that Gateshead are massive.
They are, absolutely.
Yeah. And also as well, we did have a message from Emilio earlier on about possibly ditching the suit for a Mankini on the final game.
Mankini, I can neither confirm or deny.
Oh,
No, it's not happening. No one wants to be saying that. No one wants to be saying that. No, it's.
Okay, I'll wear it.
I think
I'm not coming back if he's putting one of them on.
Dave,
James, Davey, I mean.
Dave, you know, when I said I would do co-commentary on that Hereford game, I'm looking there that day.
I'll not wear it then, okay. But James, just something that I've seen that was announced today, that obviously the corporate this year is sold out on a number of occasions. It's already sold out for Hereford. It would be another fantastic, achievement if we can get the Southport one sold out as well. Do you want to give that a little plug?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously we're really happy with the progress we've made with corporate this season. So by all means, I mean, if things go away this weekend, Southport could be the one where things kind of are confirmed potentially. Who knows? So it's well worth trying to get tickets for Southport as well as Hereford if you've been lucky enough to get some for corporate. Then, if not, whilst you can, dive in there and get some tickets for corporate, because it's has some really good feedback from that this season. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Is there any things that you want to highlight or anything from this season so far, or from your perspective?
I think the biggest thing I would say, and I think I've chatted to a couple of people about it, is just the really positive kind of development of our fan base. Obviously, we've seen crowds go up, but I've personally seen a noticeable difference in the demographic of people we've got coming along as well. It seems to be a lot more family orientated, and I think everyone at the club and the people I've spoken to externally are really happy with the fact that, like, in previous seasons we've never had kids lining up outside the tunnel to see players, and now we've got kind of like 10, 20 kids either side of a tunnel trying to get autographs, and there's a real buzz around the place, which is lovely. And I think obviously it helps we've launched our academy, which is fantastic, but throughout the season we've also been we're now connected with kind of 25-30 schools in the northeast, the same amount of grassroots teams, kind of about 5 to 10 different charities as well. So we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to connect with kind of different people within the community to get them along to experience a Gateshead match, which I'm really pleased to say is kind of working. So we're just trying to keep that up at the moment, and hopefully people are kind of starting to see that change around the place as well.
We've mentioned it a few times on the podcast about organic growth, and we've seen that kind of throughout the season. Of course, results help, but we're seeing obviously the work that yourself and the foundation as well doing. We're seeing just that graph, and you say demographic, it's rising in, slowly but surely, but that's how you want it to be. You don't want an overnight boom where people will disappear the next week.
No, absolutely. And I think obviously with things going on across the town with Newcastle, it's fantastic to see, but also they can only have so many people going to St James's Park every other week, and we want to offer an alternative, if not better. I mean, at the moment, and certainly the vast majority of this season, we've been playing some amazing football, and we want to see people coming along, enjoying it, and becoming Gateshead fans. So we're trying to catch them early whilst they're in the local schools and get them to turn into Heath fans. And I'm pleased to say that seems to be working this season, and we are seeing crowds go up, and we are seeing families come along, and for them last two matches, hopefully it continues and into next season as well, because it's been fantastic to see. So
that's fantastic. Well, James, we're running out of time, so thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Well done on everything that you're doing. And I don't need to tell you to keep up the good work. I know you will. But we have got a message here from Ross Black. I'll quickly go into this one, then another one. We've got here that you forgot to mention the away travel. There's 2 remaining seats. Sorry, there's 2 remaining away games. 3 seats left for Kettering, £26, and Chorley, £20 per person. And it is fancy dress for that. And Ross has put Chorley Way, of course, is designated fancy dress away day. Sure, James can get the mankini out for that.
He wishes.
Yeah.
if we go a double promotion and we go up to the EFL, maybe.
Yeah, I'll be joining you. Don't worry, we'll be matching, man.
Hey, I'll do it.
Yeah. You're saying that now, but not intending to diet. But on that note, thank you very much, James.
Can I just quickly jump in? Just quickly, right? Just a thought here. If promotion into the Football League was confirmed at Wembley, I can't wait to see you two Mankinis at Wembley, by the way.
Oh, it's going to be something special.
In a playoff final. Wow.
You might see the back of us as we're escorted out the stadium.
I'll see the back of you in a Mankini. Put it that
way. I think we need to be getting on to Dan Ward to get the training regime up and running. I think
so. And also as well, can you confirm or deny that Dan Ward has been spotted at a takeaway this week?
To be fair, I wasn't at Guiseley actually, so I couldn't track him this week. But one of my favourite things on an away day is to see him posting all about going to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, then he'll mysteriously appear in a Burger King somewhere. So I absolutely love exposing Dan Ward. So
you think he looks a bit like Bruno Guimaraes?
Yeah. There's I mean, playing style as well. It's uncanny, isn't it?
Dan Domino's on the bus ward. There we go. So we've had it confirmed here. James, thank you very much for joining us because we don't want to overrun because obviously the highlights are coming on at 10 o'clock on the Gators official YouTube channel. So I know people are dying to see that. But James, thank you very much for coming on again, and we'll hopefully speak to you again soon.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye. There we go, James Rushmore. Fantastic to have him on, and would neither confirm or deny. Well, you see, definitely denied about the Mankini there. We've got Emilio as put Obi-Wan Kenobi might be making an appearance. So
a new signing.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah. I love we went from one game to a Mankini at Wembley double promotion. Well, God, you know what it is, right? I'd love it to happen, but I'd regret saying that because I know you should hold us to it.
Absolutely.
So, but say we've got about 3 minutes.
I'll even organise it with a Met to make sure you see 100 meters.
I'll say we'll wrap it up there because obviously the highlights are coming on very soon. I know a lot of people want to see them.
Before we're gone.
Yeah, ladies, quickly mention ladies. We'll have to get them on the next one.
On Sunday, but apparently they're playing 6:30 at home on the Tuesday against Gateshead Rutherford.
Right, so we'll advertise that, and we'll definitely get one of the or a couple of the ladies on next week to talk about their progress because it's been fantastic. Mark, as ever, joy to have you on. Thank you very much for staying on the full show. It's one game at a time. That's what we've got to take, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's too easy to get carried away when you get to the stage of a season and be in the situation Gateshead are in. I'm not going to say cup finals because it's a terrible cliche, but 4 big games left, 4 challenging games against sides that have all got dangerous aspects to their squads. But you know what?
Points to play for as well.
They have, but I'll tell you what, not one of them will be relishing the fact that they're facing this Gateshead side. So again, I'll say what I said, similar to what I said earlier. It's easy to focus on what's lying in front of you, but put yourself in the other shoes when they're looking at a Gateshead side that have scored more goals than the vast majority of teams in the top 7 levels, and not only of football, I should say. So keep positive, keep the faith, and let's hope in a month's time we're talking about where we are now.
Right. Well, some idiot forgot about the mug giveaway. 1 second. So I'm going to tell everyone now, type in hashtag mug, and we'll start collecting the what do you call it? So if you want to join the hashtag mug on whatever you're watching on, so we'll add that to the stream. There it is there, because that's what I was, because I forgot. There we go. So hashtag mug, and we'll give away. Remember, you've got to be able to pick it up from the game at the Southport game. So there we go. So they're coming in now. They're flooding in. So keep them going. Hashtag mug. Doesn't matter if you're on Facebook or on YouTube. So the entrants are coming in. We've got a minute left. So there we go. Keep them coming in for that hashtag mug. So,
Mug, Davey.
Sorry?
Money off. Talking a mug. I've got Matty Jacobs' money here.
Oh, yeah, he bought one for his mum. What a lad, eh? That's a great Easter present.
Again.
Yeah. So, also as well, I just remembered there, condolences to Meg Baker. She lost her family pet there as well. I think his name was PJ. So send out our love out to Meg. We know she enjoys the podcast and me flashy chair. So, yeah. But, yeah, there's only 7 entries, so someone's in with a good chance of winning the mug. So we'll draw it now. And this is, there we go. Who's going to win?
Mrs. Gaddis.
Craig Stafford. So there we go. Coming to the commentary position on Tuesday, not Tuesday, on a week on Saturday. And we'll give you the mug then. So big thank you to everyone. Well, we're going to leave it there because I know people will be wanting to watch the highlights. Mickey, Mark, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a great show, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.